So the next one is, the next rule I tried to break is one that people, I don't know if they think about much. I didn't think about much, but I was curious. So what happens if we call a hook in a non-hook? So what is a hook? React in their documentation says a hook is a function that uses other hooks, essentially. I think what they're saying is a JavaScript function that uses useEffect or useState or something like that. They call it a hook. Okay? So that makes sense. And you'll notice in React code, you always put in lowercase the word use on the front of any custom hook that you create. And so I thought, well, what if I don't put the word use in front of it? Does it still work? Can I call useEffect inside of that function? So I tried that out, and everything just worked. And then I went back to the documentation, and I did notice that they don't actually say you're required to put the word use in front of a function's name for it to be a hook. And so I think initially, I had assumed they were actually like parsing the name of your function as a string and seeing if the first three letters were USE to see if this is a hook and then maybe doing something special internally. But I don't think so. Based on the documentation, it says in the documentation for the linter, which says the use something naming convention is how our linter plugin is able to find bugs in the code using hooks. So it sounds like the linter reads the name of your functions and figures out if it starts with use and then looks for other things like not putting all the dependencies in the dependency array. So putting use in front of a function name is useful for the linter, but it actually doesn't matter for React. In fact, it looks like to me, in actuality, a hook, like a custom hook in React, is just a JavaScript function. That's all it is. There's nothing else to it. React does not actually care what you call it. All that matters is, like I said in the previous segment, that you call things in the same order in every time your component renders. That's all React actually cares about. You could have 30 functions deep, not starting with use, that eventually use state or use effect or use reducer or anything like that inside of them. And everything should, as far as I can tell, work perfectly fine. So a hook, a custom hook in React it's just a JavaScript function. There's no magic. There's literally no magic. Putting the word use in front of it just helps the linter give you some better warnings and things like that, but absolutely no magic to it. Custom hooks are just JavaScript functions. It's it. It's pretty simple. I don't know, pretty cool in my opinion.